It was supposed to be just another luxury flight private, secure and predictable. Billionaire tech mogul Damon Cross was known for moving in silence, rarely seen in public without his security detail and always flying with strict protocols. That day, everything was routine. The jet stood gleaming on the runway, engines humming, crew ready. But then came something no one had prepared for: a simple woman standing by the gate. Not part of the staff, not on the manifest, and definitely not someone you'd expect in that space. She looked out of place in her thrifted coat and worn shoes, yet her eyes held a kind of urgency that made even seasoned personnel pause. No one knew who she was or how she got past security, but what really shook people was what she said. With a steady voice, she looked Damon in the eyes and said, "Don't board that plane, please." She didn't shout. She didn't threaten. But the way she said it, so calm, so sure, sent a chill through the few who heard her. Damon laughed it off at first, assuming it was a publicity stunt or maybe someone mentally unwell. His team moved to escort her out. But just as they reached her, she whispered something that made Damon freeze. Whatever it wasn't loud enough for anyone else to hear, but it hit him hard. He stood there, caught between disbelief and doubt, while the engines roared in the background. Who was she? How did she know his name? Why did her warning feel personal? The crew urged him to board. The pilot was waiting. The clock was ticking. Damon had a choice to make: trust his instincts and the protocol he'd built his empire on, or listen to a stranger with nothing to gain. What happened next left everyone stunned. Damon didn't move. The jet door was open. The co-pilot signaled from the top of the stairs, but Damon just stared at the woman. His security team looked at him, waiting for a command, confused by his hesitation. She was just some random woman, right? There was something unsettling in the way she stood her ground. No panic, no desperation, just a quiet certainty that didn't match the moment. His lead bodyguard leaned in. "Sir, we need to go. It's not safe to linger." Damon nodded slowly, but his mind wasn't on the flight anymore. It was on her. Her eyes. "That name," she whispered. A name he hadn't heard in over 15 years. He motioned for the woman to be brought to him just for a minute. She didn't resist. She stepped forward, her voice low and steady. "This isn't about you," she said. "But if you get on that plane, something will go wrong. I can't explain how I know. Just don't fly today. Wait an hour. That's you." All he asked: her name. She gave only her first, Lena. No last name. No ID. She wasn't aggressive, didn't demand anything, and didn't even ask for help. But the way she watched the aircraft, like she was waiting for something to happen, made everyone uneasy. Behind them, the pilot radioed in a delay. Airport staff began to notice the commotion. Whispers started. A woman warning a billionaire not to board his jet. It sounded like a movie plot, not real life. Still, Damon couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this. Why now? Why today? He had important meetings, a business merger on the line. Delays cost millions. But for the first time in a long while, he felt unsure. What was he about to walk into? And who exactly was Alina? Damon finally stepped away from the stairs, motioning to delay takeoff. His team exchanged uncertain glances, clearly frustrated, but no one dared question him. Alina stood silently as he walked her toward a nearby hangar, away from the curious eyes gathering near the runway. The moment they were alone, he asked her again, this time more firmly, "How do you know my name? Who sent you?" She looked up, expression unreadable. "No one sent me. I'm here because someone warned me once, and I didn't listen. I'm not making that mistake again." That only deepened the mystery. Damon wasn't the type to believe in gut feelings or fate. His world ran on data, precision, and control. Yet this woman, with no badge, no background check, and no ties to his network, knew something he hadn't seen coming. His security team started pulling her photos through. Databases, no match. No ID, nothing. It was like she didn't exist. Meanwhile, inside the jet, his second-in-command, Carla, was growing impatient. She had her own stake in the merger Damon was flying to finalize, and a delay could jeopardize the deal. "Oh, he can't stall for a stranger," she whispered into her phone. "He's losing focus." But something about Alina had already pierced through Damon's armor. She mentioned a town he hadn't been to in decades, West Ridge, a place tied to his childhood, one he'd buried deep. It wasn't on the public record. She said the name like it meant something. Like she'd been there too. As Damon tried to press her for answers, her phone buzzed once. She glanced at it, then showed him the screen. A single line glowed. "They know she told you." His stomach turned cold. Alina looked at him, calm but serious. "It's already started," she said. "You were never the only target." Damon's pulse quickened. "They know she told you." The message felt like a direct threat, but what rattled him more was Elena's reaction, composed, as if she expected it. He looked around the quiet hangar, suddenly aware of every shadow, every creak in the walls. "Who's they?" he asked. Alina didn't answer right away. She just looked toward the jet in the distance. People who don't want the truth. Exposed, this isn't just about a flight. It's about what's on it. Damon's mind raced. His briefcase was on board, filled with encrypted contracts, sensitive data tied to the merger. Could that be what they were after? Or was it someone on board? Carla, one of the pilots. He tried to piece it together, but the edges didn't align. It wasn't business as usual. This felt personal, calculated. Back at the jet, Carla got off the call and signaled the pilot. "We're wasting time," she snapped. "Get ready. We'll go without him if we have to." Her tone was sharp, but her fingers trembled. She'd seen the message on her own phone moments earlier. He hesitates. "You don't?" Damon's security team noticed a black SUV circling beyond the tarmac fence, slow, deliberate. It wasn't part of the usual airport traffic. One guard moved toward it, but the SUV turned sharply and disappeared around a hangar. Damon was now juggling too many unknowns. Elena's warnings, the message, the SUV, and now Carla pressing him to board again. All felt too timed, too clean. Then Elena finally spoke, almost in a whisper. "This plane, ... it's not supposed to land." Damon's eyes narrowed. "You mean there's going to be a crash?" She didn't nod. She didn't shake her head. "I mean, it was never meant to make it there." Sirens began wailing in the distance. Someone had triggered an alert. The final seconds to choose were slipping away. And someone was watching every move. Just as the sirens grew louder, the hangar lights flickered and went out, plunging Damon and Alina into darkness. The sudden blackout sent a jolt through the security team scrambling nearby, their radios crackling with confusion. Damon's phone buzzed again, this time with a video message. Hesitating, he tapped the screen and watched, in disbelief. The footage showed the jet moments ago, engines idling. But then a figure approached the cockpit stealthily, carrying something small and unidentifiable. The video cut off abruptly before revealing what happened next. His heart pounded. The threat was closer than he thought. Not only was there a risk of something happening mid-flight, but someone was already inside the operation to sabotage the jet before it even left the ground. Damon's mind reeled. Was this an attack on him? Personally? Or was it a bigger scheme designed to take down the merger? Or even to send a message to the entire industry? Before he could react, Elena's voice broke through the tension. "You think it's about the plane or the deal? It's neither." She pulled something from her pocket, worn folded photograph showing a much younger Damon standing beside a woman and a child. Damon's breath caught. That was from West Ridge, from years ago, a chapter he thought was closed forever. They want you to remember what you left behind, Alina said quietly. Because that past is the real target. Suddenly, the black SUV reappeared, this time with its headlights cutting through the dark. Men in tactical gear jumped out, rushing toward the hangar. Security tightened, and Damon realized the danger wasn't just from unseen saboteurs, but from forces willing to come out in the open. The clock was ticking, the stakes higher than ever. Damon faced a web of secrets, betrayal, and a past he couldn't escape, all while the plane. His future, and possibly his life, hung in the balance. As the men in tactical gear closed in, Damon's instincts kicked into overdrive. He grabbed Elena's arm and pulled her behind a stack of crates, narrowly avoiding a flash of gunfire. His security team quickly formed a defensive perimeter. Weapons drawn, but the odds were overwhelming. Damon's mind raced. This wasn't just about the plane or the merger anymore. It was a battle for survival. Tangled up in secrets he thought he'd buried long ago. Alina leaned in, her voice urgent but steady. "We don't have much time. I want to stop you from exposing the truth about West Ridge, the experiment. The cover-up. You're part of it, whether you remember or not." Damon's heart sank as fragments of his past flooded back the promise he made to protect his family. The silence he was forced to keep. That woman and child in the photo, they were your family. They disappeared because of what you uncovered. A loud crash echoed as one of the attackers smashed through the hangar door. The standoff escalated, but Damon wasn't ready to give up. He turned to Alina, determination hardening his voice. "We're going to stop this, no matter what." With quick thinking, Damon's team deployed smoke grenades, creating chaos and confusion. In the smoky haze, Damon and Alina slipped away toward the control tower to cut off communications and delay the attackers' backup. Reaching the control room, Damon accessed the airport's security feeds. To his shock, he saw footage of his jet being tampered with, not by strangers, but by one of his own trusted pilots. Realization hit hard. Betrayal ran deeper than he'd imagined. Before he could react, Elena's phone buzzed again. This time, it was a live video call. The caller's face was masked, voice distorted. "You think this ends with a plane or a merger? You're wrong. This is only the beginning. West Ridge is just the surface." The screen went black. Damon stared at the empty screen, breath heavy, knowing that whatever came next, the real fight was only just starting. Damon's mind raced as the call ended. The silence in the control room almost deafening. But for the first time in years, he felt clarity amidst the chaos. The shadow of West Ridge, the secret he thought was buried, had finally caught up with him. It wasn't just a place or a memory. It was the root of everything threatening his life and empire. He looked at Alina, who nodded silently. Together, they made a decision. Instead of running, they would face the truth head-on. Damon contacted trusted allies outside the airport and shared everything: the warnings, the betrayal, and the threats. Within minutes, security reinforcements arrived, surrounding the hangar and taking control of the situation. The attackers were arrested, the jet was secured, and the pilot who had betrayed him was in custody, revealing a web of lies connected to corporate rivals and hidden agendas tied to West Ridge's dark past. In the days that followed, Damon chose transparency over secrecy. He publicly acknowledged the history of West Ridge, promising accountability and change. Alina stayed by his side, the woman who had warned him and helped uncover the truth, proving that sometimes the simplest voices carry the loudest warnings. The merger went ahead, but on Damon's terms, built on honesty rather than hidden schemes. The plane, once a symbol of power and luxury, now stood as a reminder of the fragile balance between control and vulnerability. Damon learned that no amount of wealth or security could shield him from the past or the courage of a stranger willing to speak up. The lesson was clear. Sometimes listening to the unexpected can be the difference between disaster and survival. And while the future was uncertain, Damon knew one thing for sure: the story of that day and the simple woman who changed everything would stay with him forever.